We love to sing.
It's just a bunch of different experiences that I didn't expect to have, and I'm just so grateful for it.
I have been a part of the choir for 8.5, almost 9 years.
Man, I'm in Italy.
This is real. We're singing at the Vatican.
A group of students lifting their voices in song, learning and sharing so much more than music.
Everywhere Voices of Unity goes, lives are changed.
That's the mission of Fort Wayne's Voices of Unity Choir. Hello, I'm Terra Brantley. For the next half hour, I invite you to join me as Wayne TV brings you an exclusive special overseas edition of Focus 15, traveling with the Voices of Unity Choir on its European tour. At NewsChannel 15, we go where the story takes us, even if it takes us all the way overseas here to Rome.
You're watching a Focus 15 special. Focus 15, Journey to the Vatican. Now, here's your host, Terra Brantley.
16 years. That's how long Voices of Unity has been working to positively impact children through music. What started out as a choir has evolved to become much more than a group that sings. Tonight, we give you an in-depth look at an organization dedicated to helping children develop life skills that lead to opportunities of a lifetime and allow them to visit places like the Colosseum here in Rome. Somebody's knocking at your door, listen. Giving many concerts outside tourist destinations wasn't on their agenda. But soon after learning some of the ropes in Rome from Italian tour guides,
come over here, we have to ride the group,
and touring some of the historic sites,
I wish we could do more, because it's a very short time. We have only 2 days. We had only 2 days together.
The Voices of Unity Choir decided to give a few spontaneous shows, one of them a Pantheon performance.
Stand up, stand up, stand up. You know, it's so much fun, Tara, when we get out and we're traveling, you know, in our group. People are so enthralled and excited about seeing such a large group of young people.
Now we're children of the world can see.
Wherever we are, it's almost like a flash mob. We'll just start singing, and the people enjoy it.
Courtyard singing took up a short amount of time compared to time spent sightseeing. Keeping the choir safe was paramount, a big job for Fort Wayne Police Department Public Information Officer Michael Joyner.
It's a huge challenge. We've got 80+ visitors in our group, and we're looking at thousands of people that surround the Colosseum. These types of venues in Italy are notorious for people wanting to steal. What we have done is we've broken it down into more manageable groups with the individuals. We've got the buddy system going on, and so every person is watching out for the other person.
From the ancient ruins of the Colosseum to the holy artifacts and ornate and intricate wall art designs in the Vatican Museum, Unity spent hours learning Roman history.
We got a full detailed explanation of everything on Michelangelo's paintings on the ceilings of the Vatican. It was so beautiful. And when we were walking through the garden area, that was the most incredible part to me.
The Unity performance at the Vatican isn't for a few days yet, but by getting an early tour and also some historical perspective, it helps better prepare the choir for what lies ahead.
Just being here just overwhelmed me emotionally, and I feel I have a greater respect for the entire culture here now.
The Vatican Museum and Colosseum, stepping stones on the Voices of Unity's European tour, a journey that will ultimately take them inside St. Peter's Basilica to sing at the Vatican. The Voices of Unity Choir consists of students and a few adult mentors. When they're performing, whether at home or on the road, like here in Rome, expectations are high, even for the youngest member of the team.
I was happy when I first joined. I was a little scared.
But 7-year-old Amari Turner Dunbar has put stage fright behind him now. He is the youngest member of the Voices of Unity Choir, and he keeps a loaded schedule.
You get to go or out of the country.
Big brother and fellow choir member Jay Sean helps him. He joined Unity when he was 11.
It was a lot easier for me, but as for my brother, it's a little harder, but he's getting it.
With mom helping them suit up, both Amari and Jay Sean prepare for the opening concert on Unity's European tour.
It's just amazing. I have 2 boys, so both of them, you know, especially my oldest, could be out in the streets doing anything, but to see your child on stage praising God is an amazing feeling. It brings tears to my eyes every time.
Just what does it take to be in this choir?
Determination.
Jay Sean should know he was with the choir when it was crowned World Gospel Grand Champions at the 2010 World Choir Games in China, and later went on to win gold at the Games in 2012 and 2014 in Cincinnati, Ohio and Riga, Latvia.
When I was in Cincinnati, it was World Choir Games. We were singing Genesis, and then we did the split part. A lot of people remember like the split, and that was very amazing. I'm surprised I can still sing with us splitting like that.
It's impacted my life a lot.
Like Jay Sean, Brooke Person has also been with the choir for a number of years.
I performed at the concert when I was 6 years old at one of their winter concerts, and from there I fell in love with the choir, and I was like, Dad, I have to be a part of this amazing choir.
And Dad agreed, even though it's meant the family has to drive from Chicago to Fort Wayne every weekend to get Brooke to rehearsals.
I knew that there was something she needed with Voices of Unity that she was not getting in Chicago.
Learning to stay off of the streets, staying positive.
It was a sacrifice.
Driving that 3 hours up and 3 hours back has not been in vain. In fact, it has landed us here in Rome, right? So it's definitely been worth the sacrifice.
Unity rehearses at its home base, IPFW's Reinhardt Center. From August through June, each choir member invests about 350 hours practicing, performing, and participating in youth empowerment programs.
Learning that, you know, you can do anything you want to do because you are special.
It teaches them to be ready, and all these things will apply to their life as they get older, in their job, being on time for work, how to dress appropriately, how to wear ties and vests and suits and not, you know, just street clothes every day, being able to talk and speak in an interview and being able to answer questions. You know, it just teaches them to be prepared for life.
Membership is open to youngsters ages 7 to 19. They pay a $60 non-refundable registration fee and later an annual $60 membership fee. Students don't have to audition prior to joining, but they do have to memorize the choir's mission and focus statements, both in English and Spanish, and take them to heart.
Discipline.
Before taking off on their European tour, the kids also had to learn the statements in Italian. To translate, the entire mission statement reads, "Unite and empower our members with artistic excellence by promoting training, discipline, professionalism, and teamwork in a positive environment that allows every person the opportunity to grow and express their natural artistic abilities as they follow and fulfill their dreams." Unity CEO, Marshall White.
There's no fear, there's no sense of doubt for them because they don't really picture like we picture.
Mr. White always told us, you know, he said, one day you guys are going to be international. And as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, all the way up, I was like, yeah, okay, we're going sometime soon, I'm sure. And then he finally hit us one day with the China news, and from then I was like, wow, you know, it's real. But as a kid, I didn't really appreciate it until now that I'm older, and I realize, you know, how many 13-year-olds get to say they went to China, you know? So it's just a bunch of different experiences that I didn't expect to have, and I'm just so grateful for.
Unity decided to visit Rome because of its relatively new music festival. Still ahead, competition and camaraderie.
Focus 15 Journey to the Vatican continues. Here's your host, News Channel 15's Terra Brantley.
Since the World Choir Games took place in Russia this year, Unity decided to forego that competition and instead participate in a fairly new choral contest. Fort Wayne's Voices of Unity was one of 15 choirs from 10 countries singing in Rome's top choral competition.
I love representing the United States in a good, positive way.
Longtime choir member David Alvarez excited that Unity was one of 3 U.S. choirs in the 7th Musica Eterna Roma Festival, a 4-day event that's more than a competition.
It brings together the joy of making music.
Choirs do this in workshops and non-competitive performances, and each group gets recognition.
Choirs compete, someone wins, someone loses. In this case, everyone is winning because you will see later, they will get awards.
The winners get diplomas and medals of sorts.
University of Cincinnati music professor Eva Floyd was one of 4 judges. Their job to rate the choirs on such things as the quality of their sound and harmonizing.
They might be awarded a gold, silver, or bronze medal depending upon how many points that they score.
There were 7 categories in which to compete. The Voices of Unity was only in one, gospel and spiritual. Their overall score was enough to advance to the finals. Seven choirs made it, and while Unity did get high marks.
23.6 points from the USA, Voices of Unity with Marshall.
A choir from Hungary took the top spot.
The grand prize winner of the 7th International Choir Festival and Competition, Musica Eterna Roma, also gets a money prize of 3,000 euros. Jubilate live!
The Grand Prix winners sometimes could be not the best, technically speaking, but the best in the way of expression, musicality.
Even though Unity didn't take home the big prize, the choir did make a big impression at the festival, especially at one of its non-competitive events, the All-American Concert.
Voices of Unity made a fantastic performance, and not only the fantastic performance, but your conductor, Marshall White, was the person who united all the 3 choirs together to sing together in celebration.
This music festival is the last scheduled event in Rome, but it's not the last competition. Unity kept celebrating in Budapest after winning a gold diploma at the Loria Mundi Festival, capping off its first ever European tour.
I think it broadens the minds of all the youth in our choir just to see, you know, there's more than what the expectations from media or from friends are. There's a giant world out there, and I love that we get to explore it.
The highlight of the group's tour was singing here at the Vatican. We'll take you to Mass after the break.
Now, here's more Focus 15, Journey to the Vatican, with your host, Terra Brantley.
Since the Voices of Unity was going to be in Rome for a music festival, its director reached out in hopes of getting permission to perform at the Vatican. That permission was granted.
It's a very holy and sacred place.
And in this holy and sacred place, Fort Wayne's Voices of Unity gathered to sing.
It was a
a very emotional experience. It was so exciting.
Lauren Jones, among those lifting their voices in collective praise during afternoon mass at St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican.
I was actually very nervous for going to sing at the Vatican. It's just a nerve-wracking experience. Like, it's a great opportunity. It's a beautiful place.
For choir director Marshall White, it was also an emotional moment.
It was an overwhelming feeling of humility and gratitude and thanksgiving to God for placing us in a place of significance that hundreds and even thousands and hundreds of thousands of choirs will never get that opportunity.
For Unity, the opportunity came after White decided not to participate in the World Choir Games in Russia this year and instead compete in Rome at the Musica Eterna Roma Festival. Organizers reached out to the Vatican to get permission for the choir to sing.
My heart is so full with gratitude.
Over the course of about an hour, Unity shared several songs, some in English, some in Italian.
Everyone in the choir was really into their songs. We paid attention to our director. We sung our hearts out.
And as communion was taken, Catholic members of the group took a moment to participate.
Use me, Lord, to show someone the way and enable me to say.
The Pope wasn't at the service, but clergy and hundreds of Catholics from around the world were. And after Mass, they shared their thoughts.
Things like this, when they happen in your life, you'll never forget them. And the voices were perfect and everything, the light was perfect and the music was perfect. And it's, you know, you're moved. It was great.
With the Vatican performance now under its belt, Unity could focus on wrapping up the Eterna Music Festival and competition before heading off on the second leg of its European tour. But even with more sights to see and places to perform, the Vatican was the pinnacle.
Being able to be a part of something historical, like we were the first youth soulful choral program, to be able to sing soulful music within the Vatican is something that me personally, I feel honored to be a part of history.
Focus 15 Journey to the Vatican continues in a moment.
Focus 15 Journey to the Vatican continues. Here's your host, News Channel 15's Terra Brantley.
Unity's journey to the Vatican actually took them beyond the Vatican. And while here in Italy, they also sang in other cities before heading off to Vienna and Budapest. The memories are many. For me, what stands out most is the Vatican. For others, well, take a listen.
Somebody's knocking at your door. Listen.
We went to the Coliseum yesterday. We had to walk a lot. I was just tired.
Great. It was great. We read about it, we've learned about it in history, but just to actually be there in the presence, you know, with friends and family, I mean, it was an awesome experience.
I met a lot of people. I became friends with a lot of people, and the experience is great.
The first morning that we had in Rome, we had to pack up on the city metro, and it was during rush hour, and we had to get 87 people on one metro bus and metro train. And that experience in itself, there was quite a bit of anxiety. We had tour guides saying, you know, it's likely that you're only going to get 1 or 2 people on a train at a time, and you know, us as leaders are saying, absolutely not, we're going to get everybody on it. So I think the unexpected is something that that has been a challenge, but I honestly have enjoyed throughout this trip is figuring out what life is like in a different culture and in a different country. I am Catholic, so the Vatican was a huge thing for me. I don't want to say all the way up there with heaven, but it was like a step down almost. Like if there's any place to receive communion, that was the best place I could have received from. As a Catholic I went, and as a Christian, and to be able to sing there was phenomenal.
Singing during Mass was my most fondest memory because I've never attended a Mass, and though I have a lot of Catholic friends, it was very interesting, especially because my dad is a pastor and we're Baptists. It was interesting to be in Mass and experience that.
Everybody's seen pictures of what the Vatican looks like, the insides. Pictures don't do it justice. Trying to capture that beauty with video was quite the experience.
Just to realize the depth of the beauty and the place that we're standing in and the wonders of God that are worked there.
It's a very holy and sacred place, so yes, of course I was nervous.
To hear those voices, to see those faces, the pride on those kids' face. I'll never forget that. Never, never. It was the pinnacle of this trip to be able to be a part of that.
Now that the European tour is over, Unity's next big project is Indiana's Bicentennial. As an honoree of the Indiana Bicentennial Commission's Legacy Project, the choir will participate in a celebration marking Indiana's 200th birthday later this year. Of course, Wayne TV will let you know when it takes place, and as always, be there to provide coverage you can count on. Thanks for joining us for this special overseas edition of Focus 15, Journey to the Vatican. At the Vatican, I'm Terra Brantley.